Alright, so y'all go ahead and do the factoring and the math knowledge question for today. Pause the video, and then once everyone is finished, you can unpause the video and I'll go over the correct answers. So for the factoring, we want to remove our greatest common factor, which is a 4. So if we factor out a 4, we'll have x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then if you factor what's in your parentheses, you'll have 4 times x plus 1 times x plus 1, which you can also write as 4 times x plus 1 squared. If you had done remove, replace, reduce, then you would have just had x plus 1 squared, which isn't what the answer is. So that's why you need to make sure before you do remove, replace, reduce that you factor out your greatest common factor. Okay, so now we're looking for the perimeter of this figure. They tell us this side is 6, this side is 10, this side is 3, this side is 5. We need to figure out what this side is. So I'm going to make a right triangle right here, and if this part is 3, this bottom part has to be 3, and then using Pythagorean theorem, I know that this side length has to be 4, and then this part here is 10. So this total side length is 14. So if you add your sides, you have 6 plus 10 plus 3 plus 5 plus 14, which is a total of 38. So that would be your perimeter. Okay, so we are going to be looking at lesson 29. We're going to look at the unit circle and quadrantal angles. So hopefully you'll understand how the unit circle works for this lesson, and quadrantal angles. So we are going to use a circle whose center is at the origin and whose radius is 1. And that's why it's called the unit circle, because it's 1 unit radius. And it's going to help us find the sine, cosine, and also the tangent values as we rotate counterclockwise about our circle. The cosine is going to be your x coordinate, and then the sine is going to be the y coordinate. So you're going to have cosine, comma, sine. They're alphabetically. Cosine value and then sine value. Your sine, cosine, and tangent are always defined using the right sides of a triangle. So for your 0, 90, 180, and 270, those don't have a triangle, so that definition of using a triangle is not valid. They are going to be called quadrantal angles. They're multiples of 90, and so we're going to use a little bit different method to find what your values are at 0, 90, 180, and 270. Alright, so what you need to do is get a piece of paper, and you're going to want to draw a circle. Use a compass to make it look pretty. Use a ruler to draw your x and y axis. You're going to be putting stuff all around this and on the inside. So don't make it a teeny tiny circle. You want to make it as big as you can, but you are going to be writing around this. So don't make it so that you can't put anything around your circle. I would recommend doing it on a blank sheet of paper, not on the part if you've taken any notes so far. You're going to refer back to this a lot over the next couple of weeks, and you're actually going to have a quiz on the unit circle in just a couple of days. So if y'all need to pause the video for a second to finish your unit circle, you can. Okay, so you're going to need to pick 3 colors. I don't care what colors they are, but you don't want to pick yellow, orange, and red probably. You want to pick some that are different colors. I'm going to be using blue, red, and green, because that's what the smartboard has. And you also are going to need a ruler. So y'all need to gather your supplies and get ready, and then we're going to go over how to do our unit circle. So the first thing that you're going to do is to make a 30-degree angle here, starting at the origin, and you don't have to make it look exact. We're just going to estimate it here. I'll say that's about 30 degrees. It's about a third of the way across. And then I'm going to make a triangle here using that 30-degree angle. So this is 30 degrees. This is a right angle. And then this is a 60-degree angle. The hypotenuse length here is a 1 instead of the normal 2. So instead of this being square root of 3, it's going to be square root of 3 divided by 2. And then instead of this being a 1, it's going to be a 1 divided by 2. And so this point right here is square root of 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. This is the cosine of 30 degrees, square root of 3 over 2. This is the sine of 30 degrees, which is 1/2. Okay? And then to find the tangent of 30 degrees, it's 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2, which is just 1 over square root of 3, or if you want to write square root of 3 over 3. So you can either put 1 over square root of 3 or square root of 3 over 3. Either one is fine with me. Okay, so that's the first one we're going to do. Now pick up another color, and we're going to draw a 45-degree angle, starting at the origin, and so I'm going to say it's about right there. And then we're going to make a right triangle here. So there's my right triangle, and this is a 45-degree angle, and this is a 45-degree angle, and this is a right angle. And again, the hypotenuse is a 1 because that's the radius of our unit circle. So instead of it being square root of 2, we divided by square root of 2. So the side lengths are normally 1, so 1 divided by square root of 2, if you rationalize that, would be square root of 2 over 2, and square root of 2 over 2. So this point here is going to be square root of 2 over 2, comma, square root of 2 over 2. And the tangent of a 45-degree angle is square root of 2 over square root of 2, which is just 1. Okay? Now we're going to pick up another color pencil. So I'm going to use green now, and I'm going to make a 60-degree angle. So that's going to be about right there. And then we're going to do our right triangle. And so this is a 60-degree angle. Again, the hypotenuse is a 1. This is a right angle. So this side length here is normally a 1. So we divided our hypotenuse in half, so 1 over 2. And then this side length is normally the square root of 3. So we're going to divide by 2 there. And that's our 30-degree angle. So this point right here is 1/2, comma, square root of 3 over 2. And the tangent of a 60-degree angle is going to be square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, which is just square root of 3. Okay? So this gives us 1 value, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 values in the first quadrant. And we're going to have the same kind of values over here in the second quadrant. Okay? So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to do the blue first again. So I'm going to start off by drawing my blue right triangle. So this is a right angle, and this is a 30-degree angle. This is the 60-degree angle, and then this is going to be 1. This is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2 because we went to the left, and then this one is 1/2, so we're going up. So for this point here, we have negative square root of 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. And then we're looking for the tangent value. It's not going to be of 30 degrees. We want to know what the related angle is. So if this is 30, the related angle to 30 is 150. So the tangent of 150, in the second quadrant, tangent is negative because it's 1/2 over negative square root of 3 over 2. So negative square root of 3 over 3. Or negative 1 over square root of 3. Either one. Okay, so now we're going to do the red triangle, which is our 45, 45, 90 triangle. So there's about 45 degrees. So we have a right angle, and then 45 degrees, and this one is also 45 degrees. And our hypotenuse is 1, and then these side lengths are square root of 2 over 2, and then this one is negative because we went to the left. So this point here is negative square root of 2 over 2, and then square root of 2 over 2. And then we're looking at the tangent value. If this is a 45-degree angle coming from the positive x-axis, it's going to be 135 degrees. So the tangent value is square root of 2 over 2 over negative square root of 2 over 2, which is a negative 1. Okay, and now we're going to do the green triangle. So we're going to be drawing a 60-degree angle. And these are just estimates. You don't have to get them exact. You just kind of want them close. So we have a right angle here. This is our 30-degree angle up here. And then down here is our 60-degree angle. Again, the hypotenuse is 1. This side length is square root of 3 over 2. And then this one is negative 1/2. So this point would be negative 1/2, comma, square root of 3 over 2. And then the tangent value, if this is 60, coming from over here, is going to be 120 degrees. So the tangent of 120 is going to equal negative square root of 3. Okay, so that's doing the first and the second quadrant. Now we're going to end up doing the third and the fourth quadrants. Okay, so we'll do the green first, since we already have that color. So we'll make our triangle here. So this is a 60-degree angle right here. This is a right angle, and then this is 30 degrees. And so our hypotenuse is 1. This side length we already have labeled as negative 1/2, and then this one is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2. So this point right here is going to be negative 1/2, and then negative square root of 3 over 2. And then the tangent, we went 180, and then we went another 60. So that's going to be 240. And the tangent of that is negative square root of 3. Okay? Let me make it go back to bigger. All right, so that's the green one. Now we're going to do the red one. So if we do this triangle, it's going to be our 45, 90 triangle. So this angle here is 45 degrees, and this angle is also 45 degrees. And so this side length we already have is negative square root of 2 over 2. The hypotenuse is 1, and then this side is also negative square root of 2 over 2. So this point right here would be negative square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2. And then our tangent, 180 plus 45 is 225. And the tangent is going to be a positive 1. And I just realized I made a mistake on this green one down here. This is going to be a positive square root of 3, not a negative. They're both negative, so it cancels out and makes it a positive. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to do our blue triangle. So that's going to be our 30, 60, 90 triangle. So this is a right angle. This is 30 degrees. This is 60 degrees. This is negative square root of 3 over 2. Our hypotenuse is 1. And then this side length is negative 1/2. So this point here is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2, comma, negative 1/2. And then the tangent, we go 180 and another 30 is going to be 210. And then the tangent value is going to be a positive square root of 3 over 3, or 1 over square root of 3. Either one is fine with me. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing for the last quadrant. So I'm going to go ahead and do the blue. So this is a right angle. This is 30 degrees. This is our 60-degree angle. This side length we have is square root of 3 over 2. Our hypotenuse is 1, and then this side length is going to be negative 1/2. So this point is going to be square root of 3 over 2, comma, 1/2, negative 1/2. And the tangent value, we went all but 30 degrees. So 360 minus 30 is 330. And so that's going to be a negative square root of 3 over 3. Okay, now we're going to do the red triangle. So if we make our red triangle, this is a right angle, and then this one is 45 degrees. This side length was square root of 2 over 2. This other side length is going to be negative square root of 2 over 2, and the hypotenuse is 1. So this point here is square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2. And then the angle, 360 minus 45 is 315. And so the tangent of that is going to be negative 1. Okay, and then we've got another triangle to do. It's going to be green. So there's that triangle. And then this is a right angle. This is 60 degrees here. This is 30 degrees. We have this side length is 1/2. This side length is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2, and then the hypotenuse is 1. And so this point is 1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. And then the tangent of 360 minus 60 is 300. And that's going to be a negative square root of 3. Okay, so if you look at the green, they're all 1/2 square root of 3 over 2 and square root of 3, but some are positive and some are negative. If you look at the red, the three numbers are the same, just different signs. Same thing with the blues. So there's a pattern there. If you learn this first quadrant, and then you know that sine is the only one that's positive over here, so only your y value is positive on these. Tangent is positive in the third quadrant, so only the tangent is going to be positive here. And then cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant, so your x values are positive here. It makes it a lot easier to memorize them. So that's why I did them color-coded. Okay, so now we're going to do one last part, our 0, 90, 180, and 270. So I'm going to do this in black. So this point here, we went to the right one, and then we didn't go up or down any. So the point is 1, 0. So this means that the cosine of 0 degrees is 1, and the sine of 0 degrees is 0. And then the tangent is sine over cosine. So 0 divided by 1 is 0. So that's one quadrantal angle. We're going to come over here and do 180. So this point is negative 1, 0. And the tangent, the angle is 180 degrees, is 0 over negative 1, which is again 0. Okay, we have two more to do. This one, the point is 0, 1. And so this is the tangent of 90. And the tangent of 90 is 1 over 0, which is undefined. Okay? Because you can't divide by 0. And then this point is 0, negative 1. And this is going to be the tangent of 270, which is also undefined. Whoops. Okay, so that's what your unit circle looks like. So this is your unit circle. You are going to want to study it. You're going to want to learn it. It's a lot of information on there, I know. So if you want to go home and recreate it, y'all are welcome to rewatch the video as I draw it out. But you've got to learn this unit circle. So you're actually going to have a quiz on this in just a few lessons. So you don't have to fill in all the information on here. You just need to draw your triangles, and you need to label your points. So there are 16 points in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So those are 16 points, and each of them have an x, y, and a tangent value. So tangent of 0 equals 0 is 1 point, and then 1, 0 is 2 points for the whole thing. So if you put tangent of 215 equals 1, that's going to be wrong. You have to make sure that you put the correct angle and then the correct number and the sign, whether it's positive or negative. So that quiz is going to be 48 points in total. Each part is going to be 1 point. So that's going to be your unit circle quiz that's going to come up pretty quickly. So now we're going to practice using our unit circle. So we're going to draw figures as necessary to find 3 tangent of 180. So I'm wanting you to get to where you can visualize your unit circle instead of actually drawing this out. So let's look at our unit circle. It said the tangent of 180. Well, the tangent of 180 is 0. Okay, so 3 tangent of 180, tangent of 180 is 0, so 3 times 0 is just 0. So that would be your answer for that one. Okay, now we're going to draw figures as necessary to evaluate these. So again, you don't really want to draw figures. You want to be able to visualize it using your unit circle. So you want to be able to do it in your head, but right now, look at your unit circle. So let's go back and look at sine of 270. So the sine of 270 is down here, and our sine is our y value. So sine of 270 is negative 1. So we have 4 times negative 1, which would be negative 4. Okay? For the tangent of 270, that's the same point, and the tangent was undefined. So 3 times undefined is just undefined. You can't multiply an undefined number to get something. So it's just undefined. All right, looking here, we want to evaluate this. So we have sine of negative 135 and cosine of 180. So I'm going to add 360 to this so that it's a positive angle, which is going to put it at 225. And then we have plus 3 square root of 2 cosine of 180. So let's go back and look at our unit circle for sine of 225. So 225 is right here, and the sine is the y value. So the sine is negative square root of 2 over 2. So I get negative square root of 2 over 2 plus 3 square root of 2. And now we're going to go back and look at the cosine of 180. So 180 is over here, and the cosine is the x value, which is negative 1. So this is negative 1. So I end up with negative square root of 2 over 2 minus 3 square roots of 2. So I can combine these with a common denominator of a 2. So that would be 6 square roots of 2 over 2. So negative square root of 2 minus 6 square roots of 2 would be negative 7 square roots of 2 all over 2. So that would be your answer there. So eventually you want to get to where you don't have to look back at your unit circle. You just visualize it in your head. But your unit circle quiz is going to be at the beginning of class, the day that we do lesson 32. So you will only have 10 minutes to complete it. If you know your unit circle, it'll take you about 5 minutes. If you don't know it, you're not going to finish it in the 10 minutes that you're given. So if you have studied it and you know it, 10 minutes should be no problem. If you haven't studied it and you try and do it as you go on that one without having it memorized, then it's going to be really difficult to complete in the 10 minutes. Typically, people either make really close to a 48, they make a 40 or above, or they make like a 10 or 15 out of 48. So you have to study this. I do have some unit circle dry erase boards in the classroom, so if y'all would like to get a dry erase marker and practice on those whiteboards, drawing it out instead of having to do it on paper, that's fine with me. Y'all can practice those after we do lessons every day until you do it. Once we take the unit circle quiz, we are going to have 4 other quizzes based on the unit circle. So just because you are like, I don't want to learn that, I'm not going to do that, you're going to have 4 other quizzes that are going to add up to 96 points. They're going to be 24 points each. So it's basically going to be a test grade and a half on the unit circle and then the other parts that come after it. So you definitely want to learn this because it's going to be used a lot throughout pre-cal and also calculus. So this is very, 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 very important. So please don't blow it off. Your unit circle, highly, highly important. All right, so your homework, you do get to omit number 27. So make sure that you complete the other questions tonight and you start studying for your unit circle quiz. That's going to happen at the beginning of lesson 32.